Imagine being able to pay a single fee to one service provider in exchange for the ability to watch whatever you would like, including sports. Sounds pretty great, right? That was cable television, a flawed, hopeless contraption that should have been improved upon years ago. Instead, it has been replaced by better technology, which has produced worse results. Streaming, it is without question ruined the sports watching experience. Here's what happened. Alright, game time, let's go. No, not there. Not there either. No, is it streaming? App, not that app, not that app. Nope, still no laptop, maybe? Anything? No. Where is the game already?
You won't find the game there. It's only on Barnes & Noble Streaming Plus, an innovative new streaming service. We've secured the rights to one game annually that you won't want to miss.
Alright, fine. What makes this app different?
Unlike other streaming services, Barnes & Noble Streaming Plus is a whole new way to watch the game. You don't use an app. Instead, a single Kindle broadcasting the game has been placed in a hollowed out book somewhere inside your neighborhood Barnes & Noble store. Find it and watch.
I can't just watch it at home?
Why would you want to do that when you can watch via this exciting new method?
How much does this app cost anyway?
For only $3.99 per month, you have access to the streaming platform that Dick Stockton once said probably exists.
Is there anything else on the app?
Have you ever heard of a little program called the Rockford Files?
Yes, I've heard of the Rockford Files.
We have shows of a similar quality to the Rockford Files.
This sounds terrible.
Oh, it's bad, but you don't have any other choice. Barnes & Noble Streaming Plus, we're your only option to watch the game.
That parody, well, it may actually be a reality in the not too distant future given how things have gone in recent times. In order to understand sports streaming though, I want to take you back to a simpler time. In my first experience streaming a sports broadcast online, the date was March 19th, 2010. Even today, I vividly remember what happened on this very nondescript date in history. I had finished up my History of the Nation State class, which was totally awesome by the way, and plopped down at one of the tables which faced a window overlooking my beloved University of Idaho campus. It was close to 5 p.m. when I sat down, and while my original intention was to do some homework, it didn't happen, as it rarely does when you're in college. Instead, I stumbled upon something that was mind-blowing at the time. This discovery was the fact all you needed to watch games on ESPN 360, the precursor to ESPN3 and ESPN Plus, was an internet subscription or an email address that ended in edu. I happen to have both. So on this glorious evening in Moscow, Idaho, with the sun setting behind the Kibbe Dome, I popped open my laptop and watched a meaningless NBA regular season game between the Cleveland Cavaliers and Chicago Bulls. Look, it wasn't perfect. The stream was in 360p, but given the screen resolution on my HP OmniBook 6000 with its external wireless card, that didn't matter. Shout out to that amazing laptop computer, which I bought for $80 on Craigslist and got 3 years of pretty solid use out of. Anyway, the takeaway from this experience, at least for me, was that sports streaming was awesome and only going to get better. I could finally watch what I wanted to watch wherever I happened to be. This, of course, was a pretty great time for internet technologies in general. Facebook was a place for you and your friends, Twitter was a platform used by those who understood how to use it, and by 2010, sports was a click away. We were so naive. Fast forward to 2023 and, well, Facebook is basically the penny saver that might also steal your personal data. The less said about Twitter at this point, the better. And sports streaming, well, it's a jumbled mess. We all know the situation as it stands. Sports streaming is a fragmented, disjointed, user-unfriendly experience. You need a bunch of different subscriptions to a bunch of different streaming platforms, as well as cable, just to watch various sporting events during the year. This is basically like being able to buy all of the parts to a car, but not having a company that is willing to assemble it for you. how did we even get here? Cord cutting was supposed to free us from onerous cable packages and make everything better. That hasn't happened. Instead, Netflix now requires us to have a permanent residence, a cord, if you will. Beyond that, you have all of these other players that have siphoned off enough of the sports content pie to ruin it for everyone. This model has seemingly killed off regional sports networks and replaced them with nothing. It's also caused several cable networks just to punt altogether on broadcasting games during several nights of the week. Has anyone checked out FS1 in primetime recently? Chances are you're just going to find funny car reruns. The number of games on ESPN, ESPN2 and the like has shrunk drastically over the past few years as well. Instead, these games are now behind paywalls with rights held by various other streaming platforms, most of which don't have enough additional content to justify a subscription. The key difference between streaming and old school cable TV is flexibility. You don't have any contracts and it is easy to cancel and sign up. But we have traded the ability to watch basically anything desired for only being able to watch a specific thing or two in a single place. It ain't progress. This is a myth tech companies really like to push out there, by the way, that something being different equates to it automatically being better. A thing that is different and a thing that has been improved upon are two wildly different concepts, and to simply lump them together is flat out wrong. Streaming? It may be different from satellite or cable TV, but you would be hard pressed to say it's actually improved upon what we had a decade or two earlier, especially as it relates to the sports viewing experience. Honestly, I think most of us would agree it's worse now than it was 20 years ago. What's wild is that it didn't have to be this way. The groundwork was laid for a remarkable sports streaming experience back in those early days of the technology. This is why I still vividly remember the first time I ever streamed sports, despite the fact it was a totally meaningless random NBA regular season game. It was a sign of positive progress. Instead of developing into something people would want to pay for, it is warped into something we're forced to buy at gunpoint under the threat of not being able to watch sports at all. I'm going to admit to something that I probably shouldn't, but feel like it's necessary to highlight the current plight us sports fans are going through. I actually subscribe to one of those dodgy IPTV providers. If you're not familiar with these, they operate like YouTube TV or Hulu TV or whatever, but instead of being limited in what you get, they broadcast all sports from just about every corner of the globe. That's right, Sky Sports in England, Sportsnet in Canada, Fox Sports in Australia, every US cable channel and many local ones. I have access to them all. It is everything I have ever wanted for my television experience. The freedom to watch whatever I want in one place. Now, that being said, look, it's not perfect. I would say the system works 80 to 85% of the time, which is pretty damn good, all things considered. The quality on my tablet is great, but casting on my television hovers between 720p and 1080p. It's acceptable. Then there is, of course, the price. I pay $120 annually for this sports goodness. Honestly though, the price, it's kind of a bonus for me. I would gladly fork over a lot more money if I could have a legal stream that gave me a high quality feed on my television. TV rights, advertising, and all that noise means that this will probably never be possible, which seems stupid when you think about it. The technology is there. The only thing stopping us is bureaucracy. Now, some of you are probably sitting on your moral high horse and calling me a thief or whatever. So be it. But let's make one thing perfectly clear here. The only reason I or anyone else pursue these gray market solutions is because no TV provider, no streaming provider, no company wants to give us the service we want, sports and television in one place that offers everything. This is the same reason countless others used LimeWire back in the day. It wasn't about stealing a bunch of music, although some people did that. For many folks, LimeWire was used to get what they wanted in a timely fashion. Asking consumers to jump through an extraordinary number of hoops for something routine and readily available elsewhere for less or even free in some cases is ridiculous. Better yet, what do you do when you don't have access to what you want in the first place. For example, college football simply isn't offered in Southeast Asia through any provider. I have lived through this nightmare in Bangkok for years, aside from 2019 when ESPN Player made a short entrance into the market. It doesn't seem particularly fair that some people should miss out because no one wants to fill the gap in the market. If no one is going to serve consumers and fans, then they're well within their right to seek out alternatives, regardless of if they are white hat, black hat, gray hat, or whatever. Streaming was built on this idea of democratizing how people are able to consume television. It was supposed to give us the freedom and ability to watch whatever we wanted to watch, wherever we happen to be. The reality, though, is that it kind of just morphed into this less stable, more cumbersome version of cable television. By the way, these groups figured out how to take the sports watching experience apart, so there's no real reason they couldn't put it all together again. Hell, they may even find that people will pay a premium for the service they ruined in the first place. I know I would certainly do that, because as it stands, streaming is ruining how we watch sports. There's another factor to consider here as well. Leagues may be unwittingly shooting themselves in the foot by failing to improve this current situation. The NBA and soccer are going out of their way to change the game in an attempt to bring in new fans, but how the hell can you possibly bring in new fans if they don't even know where to go to find those games to watch? Everyone sees what exists when it comes to watching sports at this given moment, and we all know it should not be this bad given all of the innovation and advancements currently available. Seriously, how is this not a golden age for sports fans? We have all of these advancements and all of these innovations and all of these technologies, and now something as simple as finding where a game is being broadcast has now become cumbersome and near impossible in some cases. I mean, is this really progress? I don't think so. That does it for me. I'm Cheyenne Hollis, hater of the current sports streaming ecosystem. Subscribe if you like, and as always, hashtag take it out to the 25. Did I say this is the touchback? This is the touchback, by the way.